Thank you very much for joining us today. My name is Rayhan Aleem. I'm the managing partner of an accounting firm called Alpha Pro Partners. Very pleased to have with us Michael from EasyCars. So we've been working with EasyCars on a few clients to help with VAT compliance and automation of processes and integrating with Xero. Very happy to announce that they'll be doing the webinar with us today. So just a quick introduction about EasyCars. EasyCars is one of the most successful used cars management softwares in Australia. They're coming here in the UAE. Obviously, this market is very underserved with the kind of services that they provide, but it can really help car dealers in terms of VAT compliance, not just VAT compliance, but also with stock management, with marketing, connecting your system with various marketing channels as well. Very pleased to be joined with Michael. Michael is the director of computer services at Jeal. He's built the company over 25 years, got lots of experience in terms of the industry, and he'll be presenting the webinar today. Also pleased to be joined by Talif. He is the UAE contact, and he is a sales manager based in the UAE, and we'll have a bit of an introduction at the end. Just a few housekeeping. So obviously, we're talking about VAT. Disclaimer, obviously, if you want, this is a general overview about VAT for the motor industry. We do advise you take very specific advice from, tax advisors in terms of how to manage your VAT. Also, we'll be doing Q&A at the end. So if you have any questions and answers, if you just want to type them down and leave them to the end, we're more than happy to help you with the Q&A. So without further ado, Michael, I'll give you the floor. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Rayhan. Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for taking the time out to listen. My aim today is to give you as much information as possible without overcomplicating the subject. We all know that accounting and VAT isn't the most exciting thing to talk about, but don't make the mistake. It is vitally important to fully understand and comply with all the FTA rules and regulations. I'll also be talking about the EasyCars dealer management system. And due to the introduction of GST back in 2001 for Australian car dealers, we gained invaluable experience, which we'll now share with you. GST is very similar and had some of the same challenges as you do with VAT here in UAE. Jeal was the first to release a dealer management system catering for GST in Australia, and on the day GST started. Since then, we've been heavily involved in not only ensuring EasyCars complies with all the rules, but also training dealers, bookkeepers and accountants to use our systems to ensure they fully comply with tax rules. The experience we have gained is huge and given us a huge advantage coming over to the UAE. I am sure we will make the same impact with dealers in the UAE as we have done very successfully here in Australia. EasyCars, firstly, is a dealer management system designed to reduce all the duplication of your work. The dealer only ever enters vehicle details such as vehicle expenses, customer details, sales information, vehicle images once. Then all the paperwork, including all VAT calculations, are automatically produced. VAT reports, sales reports, stock lists, and many other management reports are ready to review. There's no need to use other systems such as spreadsheets or Word documents to perform any related vehicle tasks. Firstly, we'll just go over the basic important points about VAT. VAT and GST are similar and both are a consumption tax. A business must register for VAT if their taxable supplies and imports exceed 375,000 dirham per year. For VAT-registered businesses, VAT must be charged to their customers for goods and services they sell. The VAT charged on those sales must be remitted to the FTA. If the business pays VAT on a purchase, they are entitled to get a VAT credit. Not all purchases have VAT. For example, a vehicle on the profit margin scheme. From our research, we know many dealers in the UAE are still trying to handle VAT manually or with spreadsheets. Remember, large fines apply if you get it wrong. Firstly, we'll take a look at how EasyCars handles the profit margin scheme. First, a quick review of what the profit margin scheme is. The VAT is calculated on the profit portion only. You cannot sell a vehicle on the profit margin scheme if you do not have proof that VAT was previously paid on that vehicle. This could be in the form of a tax invoice from the previous owner, or the fact that the vehicle was first registered after the 1st of January 2018, which clearly indicates VAT would have been paid. First, when a vehicle is purchased by the dealer, he must enter all the details into EasyCars. The most critical step in relation to VAT is the acquisition details. Then everything else is calculated automatically. This screen here is the acquisition screen of a vehicle in EasyCars. So up the top, you must enter the date it was acquired. If there was a VAT credit, it would be in that period. We've marked it as a purchased vehicle. It's not a consignment. And on the left, we've got the name of the person the dealer is buying it from. The FTA may need to identify this company or person. We enter the price that the dealer paid for the car, including VAT, if any. And then most importantly is the tax status. So very important, keep this in mind right now, because the next few slides we go through, we're going to be referencing back to that. So in this example, we choose calculate on profit margin. So this car we've acquired into EasyCars is going to be using the profit margin scheme. If the dealer, when he purchased it, had a tax invoice, then he would tick tax invoice provided. If there was no evidence VAT had ever been paid, then that would be ticked no VAT. Now, when we sell the vehicle, again on the left, just take note, this is the checkbox for the acquisition screen of that car on the profit margin. The tax invoice is automatically generated and printed when we sell the vehicle. Up the top left, so this is an example of that invoice. The top left, we've got the dealer's details, who is selling the car, the date on which it was sold, the customer, including all their details, then the vehicle details, and the details of the purchase. So we can see we were selling the Ferrari. VAT type was PM for profit margin, and no rate or no VAT amount is shown, just the selling price. If the VAT rate amount was shown, the customer could back calculate and work out your profit or how much you paid for the vehicle. Now, underneath that, there were extras added on the sale. So 3 years warranty and window tinting. Both were at a standard rate type of VAT. SR for standard rate. So it clearly shows 5%, the amount of VAT, and the VAT in the total in that for those items. Below that, we've got the total VAT on those extras and the total of the selling price. On the right, the settlement details. So if there was any payments made, the balance would reflect those payments. And also, we must make reference to this invoice. Tax on the vehicle is charged with reference to the profit margin. Now, the left-hand side shows again that tax status box for the vehicle. So in this example, the vehicle was bought and a tax invoice was provided. So the dealer, when he's entering the vehicle, he would check that box. Then the tax invoice that produced, this is the invoice produced when the dealer ticked tax invoice provided. So on the right-hand side, the details, we'll go over that again. So the dealer that sold the vehicle, the date it was sold, the customer's name, including their details, the vehicle details, and then the details of the purchase. Now, in this case, it was a standard rate. So the VAT type is SR for standard rate. Shows it's 5% and shows the VAT amount and the sale price of the vehicle. And again, 2 extras sold on the vehicle, both at standard rate. Total VAT and then the total selling price. And on the right, settlement details again, if any payments made. Now, if the dealer purchased the vehicle and there was no VAT ever paid on the vehicle, he would have put no VAT. Then the invoice would look identical, in fact, as if we did provide an invoice, it did receive an invoice on the purchase. But the main difference is that the dealer, when he purchased it on a tax invoice, he gets a credit on the purchase. Now, if I put it in no VAT, the invoice is identical. He's still charging 5%, but he doesn't get the credit on the purchase. So now that's done automatically, simply by making sure the tax status is correct. Very similar to what we've done over here. The dealer doesn't have to put much thought into it at all, as long as he knows the circumstance about the purchase and has the correct documentation. Now, this is a purchase invoice. This is in relation to the actual dealer purchasing the vehicle. So if we purchased a second-hand vehicle from a non-registered person, we must have an invoice from the seller, and that can be done by the dealer on behalf of the seller. So, and it clearly must say that it's under profit margin. So some of the details that we need on that invoice is obviously the dealer that's buying the car, the date, and the person that's selling it to the dealer. We must have the vehicle details and the purchase price for the vehicle. And we also must have the seller's signature. So Michael Jeal should have a signature on this document. Now, during the purchases and sales or any work in actual fact done in EasyCars, whether they be expenses, purchasing vehicles or selling vehicles, consignments or purchases, we're automatically creating lots of data and many, many reports. So this is the VAT report that's automatically been generated in the background. The VAT report lists all the different types of the tax input types and shows the tax VAT amounts. At the bottom section, we have a summary that provides you with the figures to assist with the filing of your VAT for the FTA tax return. Okay, consignments is very interesting. As FTA, there still has to be some clarification around that area. In EasyCars, consignments are sales where you are acting as an agent for the seller, rather than buying the car, then selling it. Although the VAT law mentions agency sales, the FTA has not released specific guidance and scope and application VAT rules on consignment sales. EasyCars treats consignment sales based on our best interpretation of the law. As soon as clarification is issued by FTA, we will review our procedures in EasyCars and make sure we fully comply. For consignment vehicles, the sale is treated as though it is direct from the seller to the buyer. You, the dealer, are only the middleman. EasyCars produces an invoice to the buyer on behalf of the seller. You are not liable for any VAT that may be on this invoice. That is the responsibility of the seller, the consignor. The only obligation for you, the agent or the dealer, is for the VAT on the commission you receive on the sale. In EasyCars, when we enter a vehicle, the acquisition method is not a purchase, it's consignment. So from that small step, EasyCars knows how to handle the different cases for consignments. We must enter the person or the company that owns the vehicle that we're selling it on behalf of, and the estimated agreed price they want for the vehicle. Now, of course, that could be negotiable and change depending on the deal. Maybe they're trying to get a higher price for it and they can't. So at any time that may change. And then when it's sold, again, we automatically produce a correct invoice. Now note on this invoice, almost identical to the normal invoice, but in this type of consignment, we can clearly see that it was sold to Michael Jeal. This was the agent, the dealer selling the car. But down the bottom, we're acting as an agent for that dealer that owns the vehicle. Now, everything I've shown you is very simple to do with EasyCars if the correct status is selected on the acquisition screen. Everything else is done automatically by EasyCars. Imagine doing all that manually or tracking that in a spreadsheet. That is a massive job that should not be underestimated. Too many times I've heard dealers in the UAE say, that's not a problem, we've got it covered, a friend's helping, or a friendly bookkeeper's looking after it for us. Yet time and time again, they could not prove documents existed and FTA rules were followed. To me, that spells trouble. They will get fined eventually, and it's just not practical to manage VAT in a spreadsheet, especially when you have EasyCars that fully automates it for you. Here in Australia, most dealers have put their trust in EasyCars and simplified their entire management of their business. I'll try and keep this next section short, but I do need to how this new feature evolved, as it's very important for UAE dealers. EasyCars currently has a documents section for each vehicle. All the documents relating to vehicles can be uploaded and stored in EasyCars for quick reference. This also includes invoices generated by EasyCars. Now, one of our first dealers in Dubai emailed me a month or so ago asking for a new report to be built. Basically, he wanted a list of every document he'd saved on every vehicle. That sounds like a good report that all dealers may find useful. So I agreed, yep, we'll look into it. To design the report, we needed to know what it was used for, so it's more efficient. The dealer had meticulously named every document, clearly describing what it was. This was to ensure if he had an audit, he knows every vehicle would comply. That's fantastic. But we thought rather than just give him a report, why not do the auditing automatically within EasyCars? So at a quick glance at any vehicle, you can see whether he's got the correct documents stored in case of an audit, or the report can do a similar thing. So I'll give you a sneak preview of this new feature and try and explain how it works. This here is referring again back to the acquisition of the vehicle and where we had the free check boxes for tax status. So we know if we tick tax invoice provided, we know we must have a tax invoice from the seller, clearly showing 5% was charged for the purchase. We know we have to give the buyer, when we sell the car, a tax invoice. 2 documents needed. If they put the tick in no VAT, we know that we have to have a purchase invoice, and we know we have to give a tax invoice to the buyer. If we ticked calculate on profit margin, we know we need a document with proof that it's eligible for profit margin scheme. We also know that we need to give the buyer, when we sell the vehicle, an invoice referring to the profit margin scheme. Now, this screen here is a vehicle in EasyCars, and it's on the documents page. So for this vehicle, the BMW, we list all the documents he's stored on that vehicle or were generated by EasyCars. We can save documents, we can preview or reprint documents, and we can also edit the descriptions of any documents. Now, and also we have the description column and a category attached to every document. That's the key to the new feature, the category. Now, at a quick glance of this vehicle, we can clearly see, because it's relying on the purchase screen, so it tells us that this vehicle was purchased and a tax invoice was provided. So we know, or EasyCars knows, we need a tax invoice from the seller. There is one, so EasyCars automatically check that box. We know when we sell the vehicle, which this vehicle is sold, we need to give the buyer a tax invoice. In this case, it's not done yet, so there's no tick on it. We need that document to comply. Now, in this case, a quick glance at this vehicle, we can clearly see that it was purchased, but there was no VAT. So they checked the box, no VAT. So in this case, we know we need a purchase invoice. There is one, so it's checked it automatically. And we know we need to give a tax invoice to the buyer, so it's checked that automatically. Now back to the profit margin vehicle. So they're ticked on calculate on profit margin. So in this case, we know we need proof, and the proof was in the form of an invoice from the original purchase when it was new and VAT was charged. So that's ticked that automatically. And when we sold it, it's produced the tax invoice in reference to the profit margin. So that's automatically been ticked. And we will also cater for the different consignment types. So if we had a consignment vehicle, we'll note up here it was consignment and have all the correct references to the documents needed for those. I know that's just a quick look at all the VAT parts of EasyCars and the VAT. I'm pretty excited about the VAT, as boring as VAT and tax is, but it is really exciting because the way we've done it in EasyCars is better than anybody else's that I've ever seen do it, not only here, but in UAE as well. And as simple as it is, just a matter of ticking the right box. But I should remind everybody that there's many other things in EasyCars that are probably just as impressive to you when you first see them as the VAT is to me right now. For example, you simply enter the vehicle details once and all other information about the vehicle, such as a sale price, any expenses, images, and everything else is done automatically. You never duplicate anything. For example, all the profit reports and management reports that are created automatically. Imagine a website, for example, EasyCars manages that automatically. The dealer can enter the vehicle details. It's automatically on his website. He can enter a better story about the car or change images. They're automatically uploaded to the website. No interaction at all. You do not need to employ somebody to manage your website. A vehicle sold, it's automatically taken off the website. It's that good. It's very, very exciting and something I haven't heard of over there yet that does even that type of thing. So I'm sure you're all going to be very impressed when Two Leaf gets out there to show everybody and demonstrate that sort of thing. But the dealers over here, when we do demonstrations or show people, if they know another, well, I must say over the later years in EasyCars, you don't do many demonstrations. They just simply talk to other dealers. It's very easy. They all know how good it is. And that will be the same over there in no time, I'm sure. And I guess that's it for me. I'd love to show you a lot more about EasyCars, but we'd be here for a long time. That's Two Leaf's job. So to the question time now.
Thank you very much, Michael. I mean, that was really insightful. And, like I said, we've had the experience of using EasyCars with a few of our clients. And, we can see that in the beginning, one of our clients wasn't even using the accounting function. They were just using it for the website and the sale function. But they've now used it for, the VAT compliance purposes. And, they were using manual spreadsheets before. And now, they didn't realize, the power that EasyCars has to kind of be almost like your own ERP system for a car dealer. And it links, seamlessly with Xero. So all of your, financial information feeds through so you can produce your, your P&L balance sheets as well. While we wait for a few more questions, Talif, do you want to give us some of your insights in terms of what you've experienced when you've spoken to a few car dealers and in the UAE and the competition and, how it's really helped some of the dealers out here?
Yeah, thank you. Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Rehan. And it's been quite some time. I've been hanging around all these markets, Russell Core and Alcus, all these areas. And I met a lot of dealers. I came to know that everybody still depend on Excel and everybody say that, yeah, I have an auditor. He's take care of my VAT completely. That's the main thing which I'm hearing. But when we give the demo, they're really impressed. Okay, this is the kind of thing which we are looking for. And they're happy with our system, what we have. Already we have some good brands. They are using our software very well, up to top to bottom. They are happy. And right now, Michael has just shown you one part of this product only. He have shown how the VAT is calculated. Besides that, we have plenty of other options like managing your inventory, tracking your sales team. The sales team can use it for their daily activities like demonstration, like their test drive. They can track everything. And for the reporting side, we have a massive level of reporting. Like the owners, the profit managers, they will be happy because the way they want, like how much I'm getting from each car, how much I'm getting from this, the report side is very beautifully well maintained. And one thing we can assure you that when we buy EasyCars, it's our responsibility to make sure that you people are using it. So we can give you a proper training, proper support, maybe online, offline. Anyway, we will make sure that you people are using it very well. That's our responsibility. And comparing to any other software in the market, our product is 100% tailor-made exclusively to this particular industry. We are not selling to any retailer shop. We are not selling to anywhere, but our product is completely. So we know that our experience is more than 30 years. So our expertise is on this industry. We know the pain. We know how hard to get the reports. We know how hard to manage the people, everything. So we are very good at it and we are confident about it. And inshallah, when we meet, we can have the one-on-one interaction. When we can have any demonstration, my number is with Rehan, and you can contact me directly also. So I'll share how it will work, and also I can introduce to our existing clients who are using, so you will get more confident about us. And yes, thanks. As usual, Mike has done a very fantastic presentation because this is his own baby, so he's very well with it. Thanks once again.
Yeah, thank you very much for that, Tilly. I mean, Michael, I mean, few questions I have, I'm going to be a bit selfish. In terms of the VAT compliance, I mean, obviously, profit margin is very, very specific to the car industry and some other industries. But from my experience, you guys are quite quick when it comes to making changes in development. I mean, how has that journey been since you've entered the UAE market and, learned about the rules and adapted the system to be able to be compliant for UAE purposes?
Yeah, I must say we were lucky in that we had a dealer from Australia move to Dubai and started a dealership. Right. And that's actually how it started. He said, I want EasyCars for sure. and I look back at that, why we said yes, we would do it. And that is and one of the reasons was when GST first come to Australia, we had hundreds of dealers wanting it instantly because they were mindset was to be computerized, and it's just too hard for them to learn. They don't make money working out how to do the books. So that anyway, really we sold a lot when GST first came out, and I could see the same thing would happen there. If we had the VAT right. So we had the luxury of building EasyCars for VAT with them there and getting the information from them. And our people here, Diane, who you've spoken to, good at research and everything we do in relation to EasyCars, we ensure we get the right information from the right sources. And if there's any audits or questions, we refer back to where we get that information. We can't afford to be wrong. It's got to be right. So we clarify everything. So the journey, I guess, I'm not going to say hard because we've had the experience with GST and it is similar. It's a different amount. It's 10%, whereas that's 5%. The profit margin is similar way it works to our thing called notional input credits. So yeah, that experience I think made the journey easier. I enjoy it. I just wish I could get over there. That's, to help Tulif. And hopefully when COVID's gone, we can do that because, it's an exciting market and clearly it's needed. It's so needed over there from everything I've seen and heard. We've just got to get it. The dealers do not look back. Every dealer that uses EasyCars, they love it. So,
Yeah, I mean, look, Australia has a much more robust and complicated tax system than the UAE. I'm sure there's so many different aspects of tax and VAT that you guys have covered within your Australian version, and the fact that you're able to help with the UAE VAT laws is, I'm sure it's not as challenging as the Australian tax requirements, but it's still challenging in its own right. And it's not like you guys don't have first-hand experience of dealing with tax compliance, so that's quite good. I mean, the other point I'd also make is, as per the FTA, all businesses should be using a software, and the fact that they're not using software is, quite worrying. And using spreadsheets is not obviously the right way to do things. So yeah, we don't have any more questions at the moment. Is there any closing things that Talif and Michael, you guys want to mention about EasyCars, about the VAT compliance, about how you can help dealers in this region?
Yeah, Mike has already given everything, like how the VAT can be done. Yes, and we can it should always good that we give us an opportunity for the demonstration. I can come and I can do the complete demonstration for them, so that they can have a complete view how the things gone well.
Yeah, I
Michael?
suppose my closing comment is just simply, do not underestimate the VAT. This is to the dealers. If you get it wrong, I've heard of massive fines over there. Why put yourself through that when EasyCars can do it automatically and leave it for us to make sure everything complies and is correct and easy to audit? It's not worth it, especially since EasyCars can do so many other things for them. We are committed to the UAE to constantly add more and more functionality, especially for the UAE. Just like EasyCars, in Australia, we've never stopped working on it, and that is our intention for the UAE. We will continue to add more and more functionality specific for you. So it will be unbeatable. I'm excited about it. I guess that's it.
Yeah, no, that's good to know. I'm going to close. So just so everyone knows, we are recording this session. This will be available to be recorded. We'll also provide you the contact details of EasyCars and Talif. So if you want to reach out to the guys in terms of, helping you with getting a demo or understanding the product more, they are more than happy to help you. Like I said, we've used it, we like it, and our clients have enjoyed it, using it as well. So hopefully you can get in touch with Talif. Michael, thank you very much for your time. I know it's the afternoon in sunny Australia, or should I say cold Australia at the time right now. Talif, thank you very much for your time as well.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you, Rayhan.
Take care, guys. Bye.
Bye. Bye.